All right, I think we should start now. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you again so much for joining in. Today we are gonna have a session on building powerful applications with Power Pages and CoPilot, and we have with us today Ritika Agarwal, who is an MVP and a user group leader at uh, Hyderabad user group, right? So I'll let her take the stage and let take you through his journey of building applications with Power Pages. And Ritika, the stage is all yours. And happy learning, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for having me here today. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining and uh, attending my session for learning about the Microsoft Power Pages. I will share my screen and then we will start. Okay, Ahmed, so I am sharing my screen. Please confirm once you are able to see.
Loading. Um, can you share it again? Because oh yeah, we can see it
Yeah,
now. Perfect.
okay,
We can see it.
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm
Yes,
sharing
everyone,
the
we have a
file.
recording. Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead, Ritika.
Okay, I'm sharing the PowerPoint presentation. Is that the screen which is visible?
Yep, it is visible.
Okay, perfect. So once again, welcome everybody. I am Ritika Agarwal, and today I'm going to talk about how you can build powerful applications with Power Pages, and we will also cover the latest feature which came in and the capabilities it allows us to, simplify the process. We need to build an external website. So we will talk about the Copilot. A little bit about myself before we start. I'm a platform partner consultant working with By the Devs. I run a user group at Hyderabad. So if you want to join, you can join the Hyderabad platform user group as well. Along with this, I am a Microsoft MVP and MCP for business applications. If you would like to connect with me, here is my LinkedIn code. You can follow me on Twitter. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on my email address, agarwalritika08 at the rate gmail.com. And finally, I have some blogs on agarwalritika.com. It is more towards Power Pages, Canvas applications. So if there is something which can help you, you can check it out. Check it out. Okay, so let's start with the Power Pages. Power Pages is one of the components in Microsoft Power Platform wherein you can build out application that is something which you can share with the external user. If you are working with Microsoft ecosystem for a long time, or even if you are aware of it, you know that there are many things you can do for the internal people or the internal users. You can build out applications, automations for them. But with Power Pages, you can bring together the people who are working for you externally along with the people who are working at your organization. So it can be a single place where your maybe like a registration or a reimbursement application which can reside, and everybody, be it the person from your organization or they do not have an account with you but they still work with you, so all of the people can interact together on a single application. If you ask me what would be a use case where I may want to build a Power Pages application, there are plenty. Use case number one could be, I am a construction company and I have some people who are working for me in the office, and then there are some with whom I'm working as, like maybe they are vendors, contractors, and they are not in my tenant at the Azure Active Directory level. If I want to create a centralized system for all the people who are working with me in the office and have an Azure AD account, along with the people who are, out there, maybe they log in with any email they have. It could be a Outlook account, a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, etc. I can build that kind of a scenario on a Power Pages application. Another use case could be I want to build out a central repository for anonymous access. My data is stored in Dataverse, but I want to expose some part of it for the general public, maybe like some documents I have or some general FAQ information. Maybe I want to have like a ticketing system for my clients. So those kinds of scenarios can be built using Power Pages. So you get to build external site, something which you can open from your mobile devices or your desktop devices, or majorly, sorry, at any device you can open it and use the application because it's a site, just like www.powerapps.microsoft.com or www.google.com. So it's a site, you can access it anywhere. With the capabilities of Power Platform, Power Pages is highly integrable with various connectors. You can use cloud flows as an intermediate and bring out whichever service you want. Majorly, as part of the Power Pages, the data source we have is Microsoft Dataverse. So if you want to build out an application on Power Pages, the out-of-the-box functionality supports Dataverse as the data source. So all your data needs to be in Microsoft Dataverse for building a Power Pages application. Now we are building an external site, so styling is one of the most important things. How can I style my application? Because if I am releasing it to the general public, anybody can come to my application and view the details. I should be able to provide at least some kind of design or user interface through which the users are easily able to navigate. And worldwide, if you go with or if you try to work with any organization, they have their own set of branding guidelines. So with Power Pages, you can apply those styling. It could be like you select that out of the box via basic themes, or you can create your own theme and edit its detail by if you want to work on a Power Pages application, it does not require you to have any prior experience with HTML, JavaScript, CSS. But if you have those capabilities, it would be an add-on, because wherever you see a limitation, you can add your own design. Let's see this in real, how the styling part works. So I have here a Power Pages application. If you have not built a Power Pages application earlier, you can go to the Maker Experience, and from here just make sure that the environment you have, it's the right one. So at times people, they create changes in a different environment and then there is a lot of rework. So just make sure you are in the right environment. And if you go to apps, if you click on new app and website, this is how you can create a Power Pages if you have not created this earlier as part of any of your solutions. So it asks us for a very few details. First is the name. I can give this anything like test application or whatever it is. Then for the address, since this is a URL, the URL should be unique. So whatever value I'm providing here, maybe something like I already have one, so I'll try to put the same value. Let's see what happens. If I put this Power Pages by Ritika and I try to create another site with this URL, it shows me a message that this domain name is in use. So I cannot create a Power Pages site with a duplicate URL. So it has to be unique. If you're wondering what this part is, for any Power Pages application that you create, the suffix will be constant. It will be .powerappsportals.com, and you can customize the first part. If you want to integrate it with a custom domain, it's a capability, but at the time of creation, you have to create it this way. Then you can select the language. This language will depend on how many languages you have enabled in the environment. I just have English, so I can select English here. In case there are more languages you would like to integrate, because Power Pages is supports multiple languages, so you can add those one by one. And This one for use data from an existing website record. If you want to have the same setup for your new site as same as what you built earlier, and then you want to make changes on top of it, you can use this option. And then finally, when you click create, something like this is created for you. This is the out of the box one which got created. I have this site here, and you can open this in editor. This is the Power Pages editor where you can open and see your Power Pages application. If I go to the styling, this is where I can customize a lot of things. So if you see on my application, I have the custom theme enabled, but you can have a set of various options here. So if you want this to be like a bright view application, you select that, and then its colors, everything will be applied here. If I want it to be maybe like red orange, as I'm selecting, the colors of my applications are changing. This is just a preview. I can click on this manage CSS, and it allows us to change the CSS behind the scenes. So maybe I want to use this theme, but just to change one of the colors. So these are the kind of things which are allowed to change from a styling perspective. Other than that, at each page level or at the template level, you are allowed to add your own CSS. Just add in the classes, and you will be able to set the page up. So if you already have experience working with website development, this is the part you can do. Like you can add your own CSS file. If you do not have prior experience, do not worry, because there are many options for you to configure. You can choose from any of these templates, and you will be able to customize it. So like if I am applying my theme here, see, now because I'm using one of the out of the box ones, I have the flexibility of choosing which colors I want. Maybe I don't like this yellow color. I want to make it something like this. As I click on OK, see, this is changed. So the Power Pages is built in a way where whatever options you're selecting on the editor, they get reflected on your application in real time. If you save it, these changes will be saved. If you discard it, they will be discarded. Now, you can also copy this theme. They have removed this option from this Power Pages editor, so we're not able to see that. But you're able to customize this fully, and you can set it to anything you want. Finally, if you want to add your own CSS, I will save this and go to, okay, not saved. While this is saving, I'm going to show you a way through which you can see the code behind the scenes. It's not necessary that you update the code, but at times when you want to, customize a few bits, you may want to look at the code. And Power Pages supports edit code option, which takes you to the Visual Studio Code. So this is out of the box integrated with the Power Pages editor, and you get to see the behind the walls. So I'll have to authenticate. Once I do that, I will see the page. So basically, this is all the components of my Power Pages application. If I go to the web pages and I go to home, or like if I open anything, you'll see that there is a page for the CSS, there is one for JS, and then HTML is what is there on my page. If I make any changes here, they will be added automatically on my pages. So it's up to you what you want to build on the Power Pages. It allows both the out of the box controls, we'll get to those in a minute, or you can add your custom styling. Now, before we talk about the the design part, one thing I wanted to cover quickly, and that was security. So, because you're building an external website, there can be many complications in terms of what kind of data you want to expose to the general public, what do you want to show to the authenticated users, etc. So, Power Pages, in terms of security, it has various modes. You can be an anonymous user. Anonymous means you're not required to log into the portal. You can just browse the page, open the URL, and you will be able to see it. Second, I want to add a layer and add security on top of my data. So I am only allowing the users who are authenticated. I can even have a combination of two. Some pages are anonymous and some are authenticated. But it's my decision how I want the application to work. If it comes to authenticated users, there are multiple options. Power Pages supports integration directly with LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, uh, Twitter, etc. And if you have any other third-party authentication providers you want to bring in, you can do that. There is Azure AD authentication for your internal people. If you remember, I was saying you can build a Power Pages for your external and your internal users. So Azure AD authentication is for your internal users. So somebody from your same tenant. How do we control the security? So how am I going to define who is an administrator, who is a basic user, something like that? So for that concept, we have web roles. Web roles allows us to specify the permissions for each table that I have in my data. So if I want to say, I just want to give read and write permissions to my users, I can specify that in the web role, and whoever is logging in, I can assign that web role to them. So with the web roles, it's more like grouping the users and specifying what kind of permissions they will have. These web roles, they are out of the box. There are three: authenticated, anonymous, and administrators. If you want to build your own, you can create a custom role. Now the control levels, we have website permission. So I can control the security at the website level, like who will be able to do what. If I am a content editor, and my portal is supporting multiple languages, as a content editor, I should not be allowed to view the code or make any changes. I can make changes to the data. So I can set the permissions at the website level. I can set the permissions at web page level, meaning home page will be visible to everybody, but my accounts page is only going to be visible to a specific set of users. So I can restrict that. And then finally, the table permissions, I can set up who will have security at what level. So maybe the administrators are allowed to read, write, and delete the data, but the basic user is just able to read the data. Those kind of things are important, and before you're building the user experience of your application, consider what needs to be done for security. Otherwise you're exposing a lot of data to the general public. Okay, now let's talk about the Copilot and see what are its capabilities, how powerful it is when it comes to building an external application. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new page to this. See how easy it is to add a new page. I can call it maybe like registration. And I can select whether I want to add it to the main navigation. It means whether it will be added here or not. So I can add it to the navigation. There are some templates that I can select from, be it like a landing page or a page. So as you can see the thumbnails here, what kind of structure your page will hold. If you want to design a custom layout, you can do that. Currently, there are no custom layouts, so it's not showing anything, but it can be defined. What I'll do is I will start from a sub page. And as you see, somehow, because I selected that specific template, it showed me the data already here, like a product or a service name. This is a template, so you might want to change a few things. So like I can do um, registration for event. Please use this page for registration. And I can customize multiple properties here. So like if I select this, I have the Copilot, which allows me to change the tone. I can make it friendly, casual, educational, professional, or excited. Let's make it professional. It's already professional, but it gave us a message. Welcome to our registration page. We are pleased that you're taking the time to register with us. Please take a moment to fill the necessary information and so on. So see, this is what the Copilot is doing for us. We just write a text, it can refine it, and it also provided me, with a couple of options. So I can log in and I can select whichever is more, feasible for me. I can even select multiple options like, okay, I'll hide this, change the tone, professional, I'll change it again. And if you see, I can make it longer or I can make it shorter. Let's make it more longer. See, now this is the text which Copilot has provided me, and I can replace this. So now, whatever I have selected, it's added to my page. I did not need to write this whole information. Along with this, if I want maybe something like an image, there are only a few things which are released with the Copilot as it is in preview. So if you want to check out those details, here is the Copilot. This is the release wave document, which allows you to see all the capabilities that Copilot can do for your Power Pages, and you will find it under Copilot, Power Pages Copilot. I will share this link on the chat so you can reference it later. Okay, so another thing is the Copilot allows you to search the web for a number of images. So it has an integration with stock images and it allows us to find anything. Maybe like event registration, or no, maybe event would work. So I can put an image which is matching with the kind of application I want to build. So maybe like, okay, I'll just select anything. So I do not need to bring the images and like find them on web, where with the Copilot, I can just get it from the stock images. If I have a specific requirement for finding the images, then I can add it separately. But this way, I am able to add anything I want on this page. I can reduce its height or adjust how my screen is going to capture this much information. If I want to add something else, I can do that. So let's remove this part here. I don't want this. So delete. And let's do something else. What we will try to do is, okay, let's try to make this layout. Yeah, I don't want it to be, half and half. Instead, I want the left one to be a smaller one. And let's make it bigger. So it captures the screen. And then most part of my screen is for my actual form. So see, I have a page for registration with some message, then an image, and I can leverage Copilot to help me build this form. So earlier, when Copilot was not there, you will have to set up the data in Dataverse. You'll have to create all the columns there, specify their data type, etc. But with Copilot, you can create a form just from here without having to go to Dataverse, defining your tables, anything. So let's see. Event registration forms. You can chat with this if there are any changes you would like to make to the form. All you have to do is write that here, and the generative AI will understand it and it will create your requirements in this form. So if you see, I have a preview of the form for event registration where I'm accepting the name, email, phone number, age, gender. Then there is address, there is city, state, country, zip code, event date, event time, number of guests, payment status, etc. If I go up a little bit, I want to add a field for event type because it's not here. So add event type field. So now the AI will analyze whatever I wrote in the editor, and then it will try to make the changes to this preview here. Let's wait for the form to complete editing. And as you can see, the event type is wedding. Now let's see, make event type field as options, include meetup or hackathon as option. Let's see if this works. I want to make this field as option, and these are the options I provided. Let's see. Okay, see, the event type column is updated into a choice, and I have meetup and hackathon as the options now. If I want to remove something, it also provides you suggestions like what you can do. So maybe I don't want the payment method fee. Okay, I clicked on the wrong option for add payment method. I'll fix it because this is let's say this is a free event, so I don't actually need to ask them about the payment. So I will remove this payment status and the field I just added. It added this, so remove remove payment method and payment status fields. And if you see, this is smart enough to analyze what kind of input I'm requesting. If it's a payment method, it has already provided me options for credit card, debit card, PayPal, and cash. Okay, see, both the fields are removed now. Now I'm good with the form I see on the screen. I click on OK. It will take 2 to 3 minutes to you know understand and create this. Behind the scenes, what's happening is it is creating a table in Dataverse, and you can you know see those tables here. So like if I go to the maker experience, because it is still creating, it might take a few minutes to load everything on the screen, and then we will see this one. So this is a previous table I have for Copilot, but let's see. Once this is built, we will be able to you know see the table. And I see a question on the tab on the chat. Does this understand typos? If it's a single word or something, then it could. But if it is, more than 1 or 2 characters and the meaning of the whole sentence is changed, then it will make those changes. So whatever you're typing, just give it a read again and ensure that there are no typos. Okay, so once the loading is completed, the page will load the preview, whatever was there, and let's check the table in the meanwhile. Now I have a Copilot event registration. So see how easy it was to create a form here on my page, along with this for the table which is working in the backend. If I want to reuse this table on a maybe model-driven app or Canvas app, I can customize the views and forms and load that data accordingly. But how easy it has made my task to create this page. Right now, if I sync it, sync means you're publishing the changes to your application and you're able to view those. So I think it was the test page. No, it was the registration. Okay. Right now, I'm seeing you do not have appropriate permissions. See, that is why the security is important. You have to specify who is able to see this data for you. So I got the registration for event on top. There is an image. I can reduce the space to make it more, user friendly. But when it comes to setting up the permissions, I can go here and I can click on new permissions. I'm saying I want to provide create, and see, this is very smart because it's a create form where I'm creating the registration. It has already selected the create privilege because that's what I want to do. Then I can add roles. This is where the security slide we talked about with the security roles. By default, there are three: administrators, anonymous, and authenticated users. I can select like this is a registration page, so this should be visible to all. Whether you're authenticated or not, or if you're an administrator or not, this should be visible to everyone. I can select the roles and click on save. Once I do that and I refresh, sync, I will refresh now. Okay, let's refresh again. Maybe it was not synced. Yeah. See, when you see a loading spinner, which is not loading immediately, but it's taking a few seconds, that's when you know the caching is cleared and your form is ready. So from here, I can submit a registration for the event. This is how Copilot can help you revolutionize the application you're building with Power Pages. And see, this is just an example. By default, there are many things which you can do. And you can find that information here on the Copilot release page to see what all is supported. Now, if you ask me, how can I try the Copilot features? So for that, there are some prerequisites as this is in public preview. And as you can see, this is in public preview from July 2023. There is no date yet for the general availability. So there is still some time. For this preview feature, there are two prerequisites. One is your environment should be in US region, either US or US preview. I will show you that as well. So if I go to the admin center, and I go to the environments, this will show me which region my environment is in. If it is in US, then only the Copilot feature will be available in the Power Pages editor, otherwise not. So ensure that it is in the US region and then only the Copilot capabilities will work. Okay, then from a styling perspective, if you have heard of Bootstrap, earlier Bootstrap 3 version was only supported in Power Pages. So the base uh, configuration of a Power Pages application is on Bootstrap 3. So there were some design limitations, but now there in the release wave 2023, it has been announced that the Bootstrap version 5 is also going to be supported. So there are so much, possibilities for how you can build the design. And it is going to be in public preview on August 2023. There is no date, but you can check the documentation of it as well. I have the page. So Bootstrap version 3 is coming. Sorry, Bootstrap version 5 is coming, and you should definitely check it out. It will have so many new controls that allows you to, enhance the user experience of your application. Now, this is, what you can build with the, sorry, not that. Yeah. This is something we built on the go as I was showing you the capabilities. But in terms of the design experience using Power Pages, it's not just restricted to this kind of a UI where you have like a heading or anything. It's a simple page which we have not customized much, but we can customize it to look like this as well. This is also a Power Pages application wherein I have this kind of a structure where I was doing some testing for the SharePoint and Power Pages integration. It is loading these documents via a flow from from a SharePoint document library. If I click on any of these, it will open the file for me because I think in this tenant the external sharing is not enabled, so you won't be able to see this detail. But this is also how you can customize the UI of your Power Pages application. I will show you one other example. This is also a Power Pages application. It has like various capabilities where you can expand, collapse, etc. So it's not always going to look like this. It's your choice how you want to make your Power Pages application to look like. And there are a number of possibilities for such kind of an operations. If you need any help with regards to designing your application, you can reach out to me, and I should be able to help you. But with Power Pages, there comes a lot of features when it comes to building external applications. Okay, that was all I had. I mean, we still have like a few minutes, so I prepared a quiz for you all. It's a simple quiz with 4 questions. We can interact. If you have any questions, you can, unmute or drop a message on the chat. I am going to read the question and then wait for your responses on the chat. Let's see. It's very simple questions. Do not worry much about it. Whatever your first instinct is, let me know, and we can talk about the solution as well. So this is the first question. Which of the following controls allows us to bring data out of the box into Power Pages from Microsoft Dataverse? There can be multiple responses to this. First is list, second is spacer, C is form, and D is grids. What do you think? Okay. There are multiple answers also. So if you think there are more than one, uh, please feel free to share. Okay. So let's see what the answers are. List and form. You have out of the box list and form as the controls available in the Power Pages editor. If I go back also and I try to add something, I have form and list to bring my data from the Microsoft Dataverse. Here, I added grids as an option to confuse, but grids is not a type of control in Power Pages, though it is supported in model-driven apps where you can add like a subgrid or something. But in Power Pages, there are just two, list and forms. But thank you so much for dropping your answers on the chat. Um, it was, really good. Okay, second option. Which of these is not an out-of-the-box web role? Option A, authenticated user. Option B, administrator. Option C, basic user. And option D, anonymous user. This is single select. Okay, I see many C responses and one B. Okay, and then C. All right, let's see the answer. Yes, the C. Basic user, because basic user is a security role which is supported for model driven apps, but For Power Pages, there are three out-of-the-box roles: authenticated users, administrators, and anonymous. We saw that here um, when we were trying to set the security roles. The menu is gone, so I'll go here to the table permissions and to this one. And if you see add roles, there are just three. We have not created any custom one. So that's why the correct answer is basic user, because it's not for Power Pages, and it's just for the model driven apps. It's a security. Now, the third question: which region is Power Pages Copilot released in? A, United Kingdoms and Preview United Kingdom; B, United States or Preview United States; C, Australia or Preview Australia; D, Asia or Preview Asia; and option E, United States and United Kingdoms. Okay, I see B as the response here, and let's see which one is correct. Yay, you all are correct. Good job, everyone. So, US and Preview US region, the Copilot is currently supported in these two regions only. So, make sure your environment is in United States. And this one is the last question. What is the amount of coding one should know before working on Power Pages? A, they should have an experience with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, etc. B, should be a full stack website developer. C, no coding experience required. D, should know at least one programming language. Okay, I see option C is coming as the response on the chat. Let's see what the answer is. And again, you all are correct. No coding experience is required. Um, it doesn't mean that if you have experience, you cannot work on Power Pages. You definitely can. It can be add on top of what's already there. If there is something which is not supported, in that case, you can add the code. But for building the application, it's not required. So anybody can build a Power Page application as long as uh, you know you have like a use case and you have an environment to work. Just go there, create an application, and you should be able to use it. Okay, so that was all for the session today. I will open it up to the questions, you know, in case there are any. And I think there were two on the chat, so I'll just scroll up 1 second. Shweta, I see one question from you. Create this website with backend API. Do you mean like I have a third party API and I want to make a call to that? If that is true, then what you can do is it supports JavaScript. You can make a call to that backend API and retrieve the data from there. Just make sure whatever values you're passing, you are it should not be in hard coded manner. There is a concept of content snippets, and it can allow you to store the details in the form of uh, like a hidden value, because whatever you add as code on Power Pages, it is going to be visible to your user. They can just inspect and see the data. So make sure whatever you're adding, you can add it to the .js file of your page, and you can call the backend API. It would be more like adding JavaScript code. So it requires a little bit of coding, but you should be able to add it. Another thing you can do is call a Power Automate Cloud Flow. If I go back to the editor, if you see, Power Pages has cloud flows in preview. So create a Power Automate Cloud Flow with the trigger when a request is received, and then you can make a call to your backend API. This way, it will be encapsulated in a separate layer and will not be visible to your users on the Power Pages. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Shweta. But if you have any follow-up questions, please drop a message on the chat. Then I see one from Ahmed. Can we use CI/CD? Yes, definitely you can use CI/CD for deploying the setup from one environment to another. How Power Pages data is saved is if I go back a little bit to the solutions, you see, these are all the solutions which are created for Power Pages when you create an application. And when you create another application in a different environment, all these solutions will be created again. So when it comes to CI/CD, it's not about moving the solutions, it's about moving the data. What I mean by that, so if I go to tables and I go to all the Power Pages configuration is stored as records in your table. So if I open this web page, I get to see all the pages along with the data. So like there are other rows, so I will open all of it. If you see my registration, etc., test page, all are there. So Power Pages setup is stored as rows in the table. So you will have to use a data migration option in the CI/CD. Other than that, there is a plugin in XRM Toolbox. It's called as Portal Records Mover. You can use that. I use it all the time. So that's my go-to tool for moving any Power Pages application. But if you want to set up a CI/CD, you can do that on Power Pages. I hope that answered your question, Ahmed. And thank you, Sangeeta, for the kind words. It seems to be a gray area. Last question. Hmm. I think that was related to the slide. Okay, and then I see one from Aditya. Any good resource to learn Power Pages in addition to MS Learn? What can you recommend? Aditya, so there are many YouTube videos that you will find from the community members, MVPs, MCPs, and Power Platform community members on the web. You can check out those videos. But my suggestion is this is something I followed also, and it works for me every time. Whenever I want to learn something new, I just try to find a use case. It's not necessary that you'll have to work on a project to learn something. What I do is I pick a simple use case, maybe like a reimbursement application. That's one of my favorites. So if I want to build a reimbursement system, what are the kind of things I will need? So from listing down the requirements to building it out on the page and then refining them one by one. If you do a lot of hands-on, specifically to Power Pages, you will gain a lot of information. If there is any area you are stuck, you can find help. There are many blogs, videos, and to be honest, many of the times MS Learn is where I find the thing I'm looking for. So just play around with the tool. That is the best learning resource I can provide to you. And if you're stuck, find for resources. If there is nothing, there is a community forum for Power Platform. You can drop a question there, and somebody from the community will help you. And I think Sunil has shared some uh, people. These are some Microsoft MVPs and the community members that exist. So Nick Dolman is he's a Microsoft MVP, and I would say he's one of the oldest who have who have been working on Power Pages. And before it was Power Pages, it was Power Apps portals, and before that, Dynamics 365 portals. And I know Nick Dolman has been working on that from from a very long time. And there are so many good blogs that you can find from Nick's website. Okay, then I see one other question. Do we have version control here? So by default, any changes you make, they are going to, overwrite your existing ones. So you will have to set up the version control separately. Either you can do like a backup of your environment on a daily basis, or you can set up CI/CD pipelines. So this way you can create various versions, but by default, it's not there. And then I see one from Jao. Does it have out of the box users activity logging? So in terms of creating logs of whatever happened, maybe like an error occurred or those kind of things, you can enable the diagnostic logs for your Power Pages. So any action that will happen it will be enabled or it will be stored as logs in your Azure storage account. So yes, there is a capability through which you can enable the logging, but by default, it is disabled. Okay, and Sunil, I see one from you. Can you please share the name here on the chat, which you use for portal migration? Yes, sure. XRM Toolbox Portals Record Mover. Okay, and then Ahmed, can we integrate it with GitLab? I am not sure about that. Let's see. Oh, you mean in terms of CI/CD? Okay, if it is related to that, then yes, you can enable it as long as you're able to connect with it in the Azure DevOps. You should be able to integrate the setup with GitLab. I haven't tried that, so I'm not really sure about this one. But if it is supported in Azure DevOps, you should be able to do that. And where is Ivan? I see one message from you. Where is the community WhatsApp? It's more like here. No, I'm not aware of the website group, but if you go to powerapps.microsoft.com and you go to community and you go to forums, this is the community forum, not just for Power Pages, but for all the components of Power Platform. There is one for building apps, there's one for Dataverse, AI Builder, governance, and administering. There is ProDev, there is Power Apps Portal. So this is the one you should be looking at if you want to look for the Power Pages one. And I think Sunil, you have shared the WhatsApp chat for Ia Feenberg. So I have heard the name, but I didn't get a chance to interact with him. But yeah, you can follow this WhatsApp group as well. Okay, I think that covers all the questions. Do we have any additional questions? Maybe if you want to write it on the chat or unmute yourself, please feel free to do so.
Thank you so much, Ritika, for the informative session. Guys, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute or write it in the chat. We also have like if in case we have more events coming up next week and further. So we have one on Power BI. So when how you can get the power of HTML and customize your dashboards even further use in Power BI. So we have one event coming next week. And so you can just scan this QR code over here and just follow us for more events. And you can scan this QR code just to for the event feedback, just how you found it, what we can improve, what do you expect, what kind of events do you expect further down the lane. So please, we would love to hear from you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so regarding the version control, regarding the Copilot and the overall Power Pages, if like I make some changes in my form, but I want this one, can we do that?
Prakhar, your voice is,
Your voice is
I mean,
breaking.
yeah, it's breaking and now we cannot hear you.
Okay.
I
Can you
remember,
repeat it?
I mean, yeah.
Now is that good? Like it is audible? Or-
Yeah,
Yes.
better.
Yeah, so basically I was asking regarding that version control. If I want like I made some changes to that form, registration form, then I want the like reverse one. Can we do that? Like the previous version?
You mean from the Copilot?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that, but I don't think we can because earlier when I was playing with the Copilot and I accidentally removed a change, I had to add it again. What you can try is open the editor and try to, write something like revert my changes and confirm if it works. But I don't think it does. You'll have to add it
Okay,
again.
and add-on question, like in overall Power Pages, we can do that. Like if we publish some version, then if we want to
No.
like reverse the changes, no.
No. It doesn't support
Okay.
versioning by default, so you have to be, very careful with what you are changing. One thing I'm not sure if this is something which will be released in the near future, but just this morning I read an article that Power Pages is going to allow multiple users editing at the same time, so co-presence. I'm not sure if it will be added, but I think that if multiple people are going to work together, there might be a chance it gets released. So,
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
mhm. Okay, any other questions?
Any other question, guys? Please feel free to. Any other question, guys? Please feel free to unmute or put it on chat.
Ahmed, if there are no questions,
Yeah,
can we
I think.
close the session?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we don't have any more questions. Thank you so much, Ritika, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. And hoping to see you all in the next sessions as well.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Ahmed, do you want to connect separately or do
Yeah,
you
I
want to
think
connect later?
let's connect separately. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.